Good morning, gamers. Welcome to Gattsy on Goosebumps, the only show in which I read and review every single Goosebumps book from R.L. Stone's original series, and today we are looking at those creepy old dudes with sharp teeth. Vampires. In Goosebumps number 49, Vampire Breath. Very, very vivid and imaginative cover art by Tim Jacobus there. I love, I love the bottle, I love the scariness of the face and like the dead roses, and of course you've actually got the breath going either from the bottle into his mouth or the other way around. Tagline is open wide and say mouthwash. Blurb reads as follows. He's a dentist's nightmare. They're really overstating the breath at this point. The breath isn't actually, you'll find out, it's not actually about dental hygiene. Tough. That's Freddy Martinez and his friend Cara. They're not afraid of anything. But that was before they went exploring in Freddy's basement. Before they found the secret room. Before they found the bottle of vampire breath. Poor Freddy and Cara. They should never have opened that bottle of vampire breath. Because now there's a vampire in Freddy's basement. And he's very, very thirsty. Freddy and his friend Cara discover this tunnel in his basement that leads to like the secret door in their basement. And there's this coffin in their basement. And he opens it up and it's empty except for this bottle called Vampire Breath. And they open it up and all this foul-smelling fog comes and like suffocating them. It's disgusting. But when it disappears, there's somebody lying in the coffin. And it's this really old, frail, creepy-looking guy who promptly wakes up and announces that he's called Count Nightwing, and he is indeed a vampire. So he chases them along this tunnel, tries to bite one of them, because he's very, very thirsty, as he keeps mentioning, but he doesn't have any fangs. He's like, this is a disaster, what happened to my fangs? Hang on, what year is this? And I'm like, tell him what year it is. Like, I've been asleep for over 100 years. I need to find that bottle of vampire breath that you kids were playing with before, open it up, and that will take me back in time, back to my castle, where I'll still have my fangs, because I'm really thirsty right now. So sure enough, they go back to the coffin, they find the vampire breath, open up the bottle again, all this mist comes out again, and, well, sure enough, Nightwing goes back in time, but it seems he's taken Cara and Freddy back with him. So now they're stranded in this creepy old castle, also in the past, and what follows is them essentially trying to find a way to escape. Nightwing is still in the castle, and he still can't find his fangs. And he explains to them, all of us vampires have bottles of vampire breath. It does everything for us, including helps us with our memories. So that's why I need to find my bottle of vampire breath, even though I just opened one, and I can use that to find my fangs, because I'm really thirsty. And they're like, well, that's great. How do we escape? He's like, oh, you can't escape. There's no escape from this castle. Don't worry. Once I find my fangs, I'll bite you and turn you into vampires, and then you can fly away. So what follows is them trying to, escape without being bitten. It's a lot of hijinks of them running around this creepy castle. There are other vampires there that can also turn to bats. There's this little girl who pretends she's there to help them, but it turns out she's a vampire as well. Eventually, they do find Count Nightwing's bottle of vampire breath that wasn't the one that was originally in his coffin, and it brings them back to the present. Their mum and dad are in like the basement, and twist ending, that vampire is actually his grandfather. His parents are vampires as well, and he's a vampire, and he'll eventually get his fangs in 100 years. It ends with Freddy trying to come to terms with the fact that he's a vampire, and in the unused bathroom, which was where Count Nightwing actually kept his fangs in a glass of water, in like a parody of old people putting their dentures in a glass of water. They find this bottle of this tube of something called werewolf sweat, and then it sprays all over Cara, and then I guess she becomes a werewolf. It's just sort of like the little twist tacked on the end. I enjoyed this book, but as I'm explaining the plot, what the fuck? A vampire breath can send you forward in time or back in time, but there's really no way to control it. It's just like whatever the plot requires. Second of all, Freddy doesn't live in a castle. So if Count Nightwing's been asleep under his house for 100 years, how come when he goes back in time, they're not still in the house, they're in a completely different geographic place? Why did he go to sleep and then also change locations? No. None of this book called Vampire Breath makes sense. If you accept that this bottle of vampire breath exists in the plot without any limitations except what the author requires of it, it's kind of a fun story. All set in this creepy castle. Actually, a lot of it felt like it should be a Goosebumps Choose Your Own Adventure. Like, there's a lot of times where they're like, let's go with this plan to escape. And then Freddy's like, no, let's go with this plan to hide his fangs. And it feels like it was like almost written with the, giving the player a choice of which path to take. But it's still a good romp of a Goosebumps book. That's all for this week. Please join me next time when I discuss Goosebumps number 50, Calling All Creeps. In the meantime though, thank you for watching, and please don't forget your bottle of vampire breath, which will send you back in time 100 years and also into a castle. And stay spooky.